Manchester United have beat a no-name team 3-2. And I say no-name team because I genuinely don't know the name of the team. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Jordan channel. I'm sorry for the lack of uploads. I just feel like my creative process hasn't been as good, so as a result I've just been uploading less because I don't want to give content that I don't think is good enough. But with that being said, we're gonna get straight into my match reaction. Right then, so we obviously lined up in the 3-4-3. There's a lot of rotation going on this game for very valid reasons. I think Amarim's attempt was to rotate the squad a lot so he could see what players work in what scenarios and who to use in game. And he's giving every player a fair chance, which I really do like. So there were 4 players that I was really intrigued to see perform today. It was Rasmus Højlund, the striker, Mason Mount, who was playing as the right side at 10, Malacia, who has just come back from a very long-term injury, and Anthony, who hasn't broken into the 11 for extremely long. And to be honest, all 4 of them performed quite different to what I expected. I think Malacia performed better than expected. And look, I know people are going to talk about the goal, but he's never been that fast. This is a thing of a mismatch of profiles. Amarim probably didn't know that Malacia was that slow, so I don't really blame him. It was an unfortunate scenario. Anthony, I thought, performed extremely well. I think Anthony was probably one of the standout players for me. I think he showed he can do a right wing back role, and he has a place in this club as a backup to Amad Diallo, who's maybe more attacking. Whereas I think Anthony was a bit more conservative, could hold the ball very well, a very good link-up player, and was overall very well-rounded. I think Højlund was very good. I mean, he got 2 goals, but I'm not focusing on the goals. I'm talking about movement in the box, showing that he can get these scenarios correct and finish off the chances that he was being given to him. Very good striker. And I think Amarim will see this and think, I can use this guy long term. I don't need a Gyökeres, I don't need an Osimhen. I can develop this guy. He looks like he's ready. Mason Mount was, for me, the standout player, and for me, probably the man of the match. Mason Mount performed extremely well. I think his link up with the right wing back and also with Højlund was very good. His little flicks, and you can just see how technically strong he is. I feel like it's inevitable that he will come right for United and he will be constantly used if he can stay injury free. For me, it's not a matter of whether Mason Mount is good enough or not. I think it's quite obvious that he is. It's just the injury record, similar to Martial. The injuries is just holding him back from being a consistent starter in this 11. I also want to quickly mention Luke Shaw coming on at left centre back now. It's very interesting because I think there's some very interesting dynamics that could be made between Delo playing left wing back and Luke Shaw playing left centre back, where they can kind of exchange positions, because as we know, Delo is very comfortable on the ball, so I could see him playing left centre back and covering for Luke Shaw if he maybe wants to make a run up front. It's just something to look out for, but I think they could interchange a lot. So you can talk about the 2 goals that we conceded, but for me, these were both preventable. I mean, the first goal was basically just a error. It was a simple error. There wasn't anything wrong with the tactics or the players. The second goal was just Malacia getting paced. So both of those goals were preventable. Like, on a different day, we don't concede both of those goals. It wasn't like these were goals where we were getting simply outplayed. It wasn't like that. But anyways, we're going to get into the player ratings. So for Onana, I think, again, I think I say this every time, Onana has improved a lot. He is constantly improving every game and he looks completely different to last season. I would probably give, again, we go 5.5 as the average. Onana was probably a 6.5. You see, Onana actually didn't have that much to do, but when he was called upon, he provided. He did succeed, and I don't think he could have done anything different on both goals. I mean, you could argue the second goal goes through his legs, but keepers are taught, make yourself big. Can't really do anything about that. So now we have De Ligt as the central centre back. There were some misplaced passes, but I think it was an above average performance, so I'll probably give him a 6.5. Mainly because he was leading the defense. Again, he's in a completely new system. So for me, De Ligt, very impressive. Okay, Martinez is an interesting one. I want to quickly comment on Martinez. I don't see the long-term future of Martinez. Like, personally, I don't see it. I see Luke Shaw as the better left centre back, mainly because he is faster, more rapid, and he's as comfortable on the ball as Martinez, in my opinion. So I don't see the long-term future, but I think he had a relatively decent performance. So I'll probably give him a 6, just because I don't think he was as good as De Ligt and getting on the ball as much as De Ligt and making as big an impact, but he was above average. The right centre back is Mazraoui, and quickly I want to say that Mazraoui is our best player. Like, I think maybe the low hive might not like this, but Mazraoui is our best player. He can play right centre back, he can play wing back. He is very, very good. And for me, I have to give him an 8. He created I think it was the second goal. He created it completely. On the ball, he's technically clean. He barely loses the ball. He's very composed, and he's in a new position. He hasn't had to play right centre back a lot in his career, and he's doing amazing. He is hands down our best player. So Ugarte and Bruno, again, like I said last episode, we'll rate them individually and then as pivots. So I actually thought Ugarte and Bruno did relatively well. Do I think this can work against Premier League sides? Probably not. Look, you can talk about principles staying the same, but the physicality that they lack, it's not going to work in the Prem. Ugarte, I would probably say, had a pretty good game. I'm going to give him a 7 because I think he had a pretty good game. He covered a lot of ground, he made interceptions, and I think his match awareness is really good. Like, his intercepts, his reading of the game, it's always improving. So I think Ugarte, very, very good. Bruno, I think, had an excellent game and will probably go down as an unsung hero. I'll probably give him a 7.3. He had a very, very good game. You see the diagonals he was hitting from deep, not very easy. Again, technique was on point. He didn't lose the ball very often, but when he did, it was pretty bad, which is why I bumped his rating a bit down. But overall, Bruno has shown he can play 8, which makes an interesting conversation for who's going to be the 2-8 between Casemiro, Mainu, Ugarte and Bruno. Very, very interesting conversations to be had there. Now for the wing backs, obviously we went with Malacia and then Anthony. Anthony, I'm going to give a 7. Just because I think Anthony hates his faults. I think Anthony is a great player. I personally think that this right wing back role was perfect for him because he can work very hard and be the touchline winger he wants to be. Because I think him being on the inside channels is just not good. He's not good there. He's better as a touchline winger, being a creator, linking up and progressing play. That's what he's good at. Don't try and make him a runner type of vibe. He's not that. But very good performance, 7.3. I was happy with a lot of stuff he was doing. He completed some take-ons. Very good performance from Anthony. Also, Malacia. So Malacia, I would give him an average performance, but I'm going to bump it up just to a 6. Simply for the reason of, this is his first game back in like 2 years, and I think he played really well. I mean, people are going to talk about the goal. The goal was just unlucky. He got paced, simple as that. I mean, what are you going to do in that scenario? Like, it's unlucky. So yeah, I'll give Malacia a 6, and I'm interested to see how Ruben Amorim is going to use him in the future. Right then, so the front line is interesting. I think, firstly, Mount is a nailed-on starter. I think Mount is just really good. I keep talking about his technical ability because he is just that good. He's passing, he's shooting, the way he reads the game, it's immaculate. And for me, he's ahead of Bruno at that right 10 position. He just really is that good. And I can see now why he thrived under Tuchel. In that 3-4-3, he is just so good at that position. It's incredible. So for me, Mason Mount, I'm going to give him an 8. Incredible from Mason Mount. Okay, now the left winger was Garnacho. So for me, the one thing with Garnacho that is always constant and you can always see throughout every game is Garnacho is a constant threat. And I can't say that about Rashford. That's why I will give Garnacho an above average performance, a 6.5. A constant threat throughout the game. Obviously got the goal, but anyone could have scored that. Heck, even Onana could have scored that. He had a good performance. I like him a lot. So I gave him a 6.5. Will he be a starter? It remains to be seen. I think that Amorim will always include one of Rashford or Garnacho in that left wing, like sort of left 10 position. It just depends on which one. I don't think he's nailed on starter like a Mason Mount is. Now, my favorite player, Rasmus Højlund. He, for me, gets a 7.5. Look, Højlund could have done better tonight, which is the funny thing. He had a very good performance, but he probably could have gotten 4 goals. I'm happy he got 2, but I think he could have done more. 7.5 is probably the right score. Marking him up for the 2 goals, positioning, and that first goal again is extremely difficult. Very, very difficult goals to score, but he still ended up scoring it. The second goal was just tap in, but very good striker, positioning, and instinct. You can't really teach those type of things. So 7.5 for Rasmus Højlund. Now, I actually forgot to rate Ruben Amorim in our last game, but Ruben Amorim for me gets a 7.5. For the fact of I'm liking that he is experimenting with all the players. He's giving every player a fair shot, and this will run him in good stead in the long run, because players can never say they didn't get a fair shot. Ruben Amorim, very, very good. With that being said, I've been Jose. Now, I'm very sorry for the lack of uploads. I'm trying to work out how I'm going to schedule this stuff, but I will let you guys know when I get a consistent schedule. Follow me on Twitch at Jose. Follow me on Twitter at Jose. Thank you guys for being the best in the world and for watching the video fully. I love you all. Have a good rest of your holidays. Peace out.